Hey everybody, it's Paul here, showing off my inquiry project. My inquiry project, the topic had to do with teaching knowledge and skills while engaging all learners. And my proposed research question was, how do you best teach students while using strategies that engage students in history, social science content? And the reason I decided to choose this topic or question in particular was because students are constantly told that they need to work hard and write academically. They have to have a strong voice, all of these core values on education and academia. But this isn't really what's constantly looked for in the work field or the workforce, I feel. We constantly are telling students, work hard, get good grades, you're going to get into colleges and receive high paying jobs. But the main factor that students should be aware of is having creativity. And in order to do that, teachers need to foster that creativity in the classroom first, and that will help drive students to receive, higher paying jobs, high marks in job interviews, things of that nature. You want to stand out in the workforce. You want to stand out to these colleges. You want to stand out just as being a good overall citizen. And so we need to show students to have this creative mind installed within them, but in order to do that, teachers need to be aware of what does that mean. It's not just throwing colors at students. It's not just, doing having creative posters in the background, because it's a lot more than that. Um, Before I get into all the journal articles and things like that, I did want to show a video. It's called The Shift from Engaging Students to Empowering Learners. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but essentially what it's talking about is that you can engage students and have them be creative, but it has to have a purpose. You have to shift these students from being engaged with the content to actually wanting to come into the classroom to learn and feeling empowered with the content. So, for instance, teaching civil law this semester has taught me that students are not going to just want to come in and learn law all day. That's not why they're there. They're trying to learn skills that are going to set them up for the future, because it is an elective course, or it was. So, how can I personally turn civil law into something that's engaging? That was the biggest problem that I've had all semester long. It was not an easy task, and by no means do I feel I 100% accomplished it. It's a work in progress. And so I feel that we need to do more in the classroom, and so I've assembled kind of a mini little toolkit of things to kind of keep in mind or to come back to, but it's also a working document, and that's what I want to that I personally want to keep in mind for myself, is that it's a working document. It's not something that's finite, that okay, I'm done, here it is, I turned it in. It's something that I can constantly come back to throughout my career as a teacher, and constantly add on. So maybe one day, if I have a student teacher, or if I'm helping in induction, or if whatever the case, if I'm working with peers, I have this toolkit that I can share, and they can also add on to it. And so that's kind of what I want to keep in mind, and kind of want to just share out. But basically, in order to kind of find what to include in the toolkit, you might have already seen it on the screen, but I've looked at three different journal articles. The first was Creativity in Modern Education by Duli Pilana, and this journal piece examines creativity in various other countries, including the United States. But one country that in particular that I wanted to focus on for the sake of the presentation was Chile. And in Chile, they talk about creativity, and they bring it up and they want to foster creativity in the classroom, but the only classroom that they can think of is art. And I feel like that's what creativity is, stereotyped as that it's art, that it's only for art. But why can't creativity be in something like math, science, or civil law? These are dense topics and they're very difficult to grasp, but students should be able to have fun with it. There shouldn't be, it shouldn't only be limited to art. So, one of the quotes that I had was, "This is a reason why all countries involve creativity in their curricula. Nonetheless, just a few schools in the United States are able to demonstrate in the school districts." Because not even the United States uses creativity in all of their classrooms. They want to foster this, they want to show it off because it's flashy. Creativity is something you can brag about. You can say to parents and admin, the board, like, hey, you know what? We're creative in the classroom. This is what's going on. But it goes so much more beyond that because it's not being realized in other classrooms. Um, Another journal article that I had was, "Can teachers' self-reported characteristics and beliefs about creativity predict their perception of the creativity practices in the classroom?" And basically, the findings of this piece were that gifted resource teachers were the ones that were using creativity. It wasn't just standard core classes. It was the ones who were utilizing gifted resources, having more higher level learners, but it should be achieved through all. It shouldn't just be done at a very high level. It should be able to go through all types of learners. And so we need to foster some of these resources in order for students of all different backgrounds, all different learning capabilities to be able to utilize this. And finally, the third journal article that I had was fostering group creativity through design thinking practices. And basically, design thinking projects facilitate so much creativity with adult learners, but also high school learners as well. And that's how you can kind of get the creativity juices flowing. So for my toolkit in these last couple minutes, I do have that YouTube video from John Spencer, but also a music playlist that has a bunch of really cool songs that I personally like hearing as well. It's not just classical music because I know you think creativity, let's listen to some Mozart, but I also feel, because I listen to music a lot when I'm doing work, so students should be able to listen to music that they can relate to and they actually enjoy hearing. So there's, Justin Bieber on this one, 21 Pilots, Beyonce, music soundtracks, electronic, country, a bunch of different things. And of course, stuff that I could also mess with and add on as well. Um, I've also found some learning cubes that are really cool. They're from a site called Kagan Online. And there's like team builder cubes, there's stuff for brain boosters, thinking, reading comprehension, stuff for social science, current events. Basically, you just pass the cube around, and whichever side you have, it'll ask you a specific question that you have to answer. And I think that'd be a really perfect intro activity or some sort of engagement activity, recap, summaries, however you want to include that. I really love that. Lots of colors, of course, and we're talking creativity. Using markers on posters and different assignments is fantastic for students. And also for activities, mock field work, open-ended journals for warm-ups, passion projects, things that you can show that this is going to lead to something. Students are always asking, what is the point? Why am I doing this? So of course we should show students different ways that you could use this in the real world and why it's important and why to be passionate about that. Giving open-ended journals for warm-ups, passion projects such as like something they feel powerful about. Disenfranchisement for a law class could be an example. Something that students feel close to and being able to research that on themselves, or coming up with their own projects with a group. Just different things of that nature. And one final moment that I want to talk about is utilizing this creativity rubric. So students are we constantly check students on, checking for understanding, things of that nature, but maybe once in a while giving them a creativity assessment. Are they using original thoughts and ideas? Are they elaborating on their content? How is the process going? How are they actually being creative, not just having creative as one box, but a whole 20 points about creativity? So just little things to kind of foster this environment of student engagement and drawing them in, keeping them as lifelong learners and wanting them to be empowered by the content, I feel is something that we need to do as educators. And this toolkit kind of lays the foundation for that. Um, but yeah, so just different ways to engage the students, not just um, giving, activities that are readings, let them be passionate, let them discover it kind of through their own lens. And I feel by doing that, we're going to be able to engage these learners through history and social science in a way that, we couldn't do as when we were students in school. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email, text me, Facebook me, whatever it is. I'd be happy to talk about this and collaborate as best as we can. Um, yeah, have a good one.